long story short, there are hundreds of those. Hundreds. And I also see those of you out there who put on a cape for me, and that really does mean the world to me, because there's nothing anybody can do about this. There's nothing anybody can do to stop this hate. And so I question what my purpose is in even being here in front of you saying that this is happening. I don't really know.
What you just heard was taken from an Instagram post from Moses Ingram, the actress who plays Reva, aka the third sister, in the Obi-Wan Kenobi Star Wars series, which is airing now on Disney+. For those of you not in the know, she is the latest addition of Star Wars actors to be in the middle of some sort of racial controversy. This, unfortunately, is nothing new. In fact, those of you who've been subscribed to me for a while may remember that the last video I did on anything that was exclusively Star Wars was also involving some racial stuff. Because in my Gina Carano video, I also pointed out how High Republic authors, in particular Christina Ariel and Justina Ireland, were making openly bigoted and racist statements, against white people, and yet Star Wars, the Disney Lucasfilm, stood by them while dragging Gina Carano through the dirt. That, plus a general feeling of discontent with the way the series is going, just made me walk away from Star Wars. If you've noticed, I haven't really covered anything Star Wars since, except mentioning Ahsoka Tano in another video. I haven't watched a whole series all the way through since the second season of The Mandalorian. The declining quality of its actual material, plus the attitudes of the official folks associated with Star Wars regarding its treatment of fans, and its very characteristic but still jacked up method of hiding behind actors that are of any marginalized group. That's what Disney does. That's what they're good at. They use that as a shield to hide from any criticism. So the moment people start talking out about it, they say, oh, you're racist, even when the criticisms are warranted, which we have a lot of in the case with Moses Ingram. Now, I do need to say this, and this is probably a statement that everybody watching this probably already knows, at least 99% of people watching this, but I do not agree with, nor do I condone any actual racism being thrown at Moses Ingram. Disliking her character or her portrayal of said character, in my opinion, is not an excuse to be a racist POS. However, there is a very specific reason why I chose that clip and put it right in the beginning, because Moses Ingram herself has brought up a really good point, and that is, this stuff's just gonna be here. How do you get rid of all bigotry or people who want to troll others and get a reaction out of them by taking cheap jabs at them because of the way they speak or the color of their skin or their sexual orientation, etc., etc., etc.? The reality is you can't. You can't do it in real life. You can't do it in fandoms. You can't do it in comment sections. You just can't. As long as there are individual people who can think freely, there will be some people who choose to do those things. It sucks. I wish it didn't happen, but it is the world we are in. But I think we can achieve a world where we are receiving minimal amounts of bigotry possible. And I think for us in the West, we have made incredible strides. Just the fact that a franchise like Star Wars can exist and has had people of color in it all the way back to Empire Strikes Back, with Billy D. Williams, who was like the sexiest man in Hollywood at the time, you know, and everyone watching this video, if you've watched anything that came out after A New Hope, you've seen black folks and plenty of other non-white folks in those roles. And then that's not even taking into account all the ones who are from like the comics or the novels or any of the video games. Like Jedi Fallen Order had Trilla, aka Second Sister, who clearly is not white. I don't know if she's Middle Eastern or Indian descent. I'm sorry guys, it's hot as hell in my house because the AC's out, so my eyes are kind of blurry right now because there's sweat in it. Also, there's Seer, who is clearly black. Not only is she black, she looks like every black person's favorite perpetually pissed off auntie, okay? I really don't want to hear this whole attitude of, oh, Star Wars is racist, the fandom's racist. That doesn't mean, unfortunately, things like this won't happen because, again, there will always be these individuals who want to go this route. John Boyega had to deal with it, and I remember when those trailers dropped, when the trailers for Force Awakens dropped. I remembered when the idiots were crawling out of the woodwork and started with the racism about that. It was dumb then, it's dumb now. However, none of that should be a shield from people who have actual criticisms about the way Finn's character was treated. Things that John Boyega himself has even come out against. And he's talked about how Disney, they always talk a good game when it comes to diversity, but when it comes time to actually put their money and their products where their mouth is, it's mum's the word. But I don't even know why I'm wasting time on this argument. We're talking about Disney here. We'd be here all day mentioning this stuff, the racist shit that Disney's done, and we still wouldn't have enough time. But getting back to Moses Ingram and this whole thing, there's a very disingenuous nature about all this. When people act like it's just two camps of people, where it's just the folks who are appreciative of her or her character and who love her, and then there's racists. As if there's not a humongous ass chunk of people in the middle who are not racist, but don't care for how she's written and or portrayed. And if we're going to have a conversation, because everyone loves to say that these days, we got to have a conversation. It's time to have a conversation. Well, if we're going to have a conversation, we need to have an honest one, okay? We need to not lie. We need to not misrepresent the different sides of this argument. It's not just people who love Reva and drink Moses Ingram's bathwater and then card-carrying Klansmen who want to throw her up in a tree. Like, that is not the deal here, okay? And to be completely honest, Moses Ingram, in terms of the larger backlash from the fandom that she's got, she has brought some of that on herself. Moses Ingram was the one who said, and I quote, "Obi-Wan is going to bring the most diversity I think we've ever seen in the galaxy before. To me, it's long overdue. If you got talking droids and aliens but no people of color, it doesn't make any sense. It's 2022, you know. So we're just at the beginning of that change. But I think to start that change is better than never having started it." That is a statement that at best shows Moses Ingram is ridiculously and hilariously ignorant about Star Wars. I'm sorry, but how are you that ignorant about a thing that you're about to walk into? Not saying you got to be a lifelong fan, but damn, you can't even you could be a Google University scholar and understand that statement is not true. Okay, so either you are very ignorant or you're being disingenuous and you are purposefully saying things like this to try and rile people up to drum up more attention to your show. And not only that, but there's part of her response that was not contained in that clip I just showed you. More was said when she actually said that on Instagram. This was by a second-hand account. The part that they did not include was the end where she said, "I think the thing that bothers me is this sort of feeling that I just got to shut up and take it. I just kind of got to grin and bear it. And I'm not built like that." I'm sorry, but what else did you think was going to happen? You are a black woman taking a lead role in a widely known series in a franchise that has been under fire for its decline of quality for several years. Mixed in that, you will have constructive criticism, very harsh but still in some way valid criticism. You will have trolls. You will have genuine racist people. You will have all of that. That is the world that you are stepping into. So to give credence to those small amount of people, and she did say she's getting hundreds of these things, which again, still not good, but to give credence to those people and act like that's all you're getting, like it's either praise or just racism, that is not how you play this game. And just by reading some of the stuff that she's been getting posted, this just sounds like some troll shit. It sounds like some trolls who just see, oh, it's a black woman doing something. I'm going to talk about Ebonics. I'm going to talk about blah, blah, blah. It's probably somebody called her monkey in space or some shit out there. So yes, giving that stuff attention to this degree is only giving them exactly what they want. I wouldn't say you have to grin and bear it. I'd say that it is something you must endure. And it is something that you have to understand is coming with the territory. But it is not a reflection of everybody out there. In fact, outside of the people who are critical of the way she plays Reva, the rest of the response to her being in Star Wars has been extremely positive. There's so many people who, before the show debuted, were just like, oh, she looks great. The outfit looks fire. The hair looks fire. Black girl magic, all that stuff. You know, all up and through on all platforms. So if we're going to play this game where we ignore the criticism that's valid, focus on the racists, and act like that's the one side of the argument and the other side is just praise, we can't have an actual conversation about anything. She is not the first one to do this. As I mentioned before, we had Christina Ariel and Justina Ireland who did this same thing. It was all about my racism, my trolls, my incels, and we completely forgot about the fact that both of these ladies have been disgustingly racist to white people on their Twitter. I am a 33-year-old black American man. I have gotten this bullshit on my YouTube. When I'm gaming, I get it a lot, okay? When I say a thing and it blows up, you best believe part of it's going to be racist in some way, shape, or form, even if that racism is coming from my own people. I've made a few videos on this channel talking about how I keep getting called a coon, and if I say something that a certain kind of black person doesn't agree with, okay? So it is out here. It is out here way more than I would like, but I can't get rid of it. I can't turn it off. I remember last year I was just saying, hey, I really like this character when I was talking about Dolores. And I love how Japan isn't even playing the whole representation matters game, but they're still freaking winning at it. And I essentially got told by someone who was a follower of mine that black people have not accomplished anything in the West over the past 30 years or 40 years, and how I'm some stupid SJW who's on par with people who burn businesses and shoot people in the street for saying I like a Japanese made black character. So yes, absolutely, this shit is still out here. That is not the conversation. The conversation is how much of that makes up your experience as someone who is in Star Wars, as a black person, as a black woman who is in this role, and how much of it is actual criticism, how much of it is something that you need to give the time of day to, because like Moses Ingram said herself, you cannot stop this. We already have all the tools we can get to mitigate it in terms of blocking people, muting them and whatnot. You can even turn the whole ass comment section off on pretty much everything now. Because when people want to do fuck shit, they will find a way to do said fuck shit, okay? You can't stop that. What you do have control over is how you respond to it. And you can choose to let it derail you and stay pissed off about it, or you can choose to continue to do your work and being great and succeeding and going far in whatever you're doing is a way better counter argument than getting pissed off on Instagram about it. It is something we have to deal with, but it is something that does not have the power to actually affect our lives because of the strides of people in real life as well as entertainment like Billy D. Williams and Sam Jackson, who were some of the first black folks in Star Wars who paved the way. That work has been done. She is not the first. She will not be the last. But that's basically all I got to say. Thank y'all for watching and listening. I'm Anime, and I'll talk to y'all later. Deuces.